Hello and welcome to our sixth form virtual open evening. My name's Claire Willis, I'm the assistant head in charge of sixth form, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our applications and admissions process here at Prince Henry's. To start with, our approach at Prince Henry's is to take each student as an individual to look at their goals and their aspirations and to help them identify both the courses and the other opportunities for personal development that will help them to achieve those goals. And that starts with choosing the right course for you as an individual. So we look at each student individually on their own merits, but broadly it's about thinking about your own skills and your own learning. If you're good at exams, then you're probably best suited to the courses that are mainly assessed by examination, those traditional A-level subjects. If exams are not your strongest point, but you're very good at coursework, then it is worth considering some coursework-based subjects where the exam and coursework load is balanced and you get the opportunity to be assessed over a range of different formats rather than an end of course exam. And it really is about thinking about yourself as an individual and not choosing things because that's what your friends are choosing or because you think the course sounds better than another course. It's about thinking, where can you succeed? Where can you gain those high grades that are going to enable you to take those next steps? And so if you're looking at the academic A-levels, then our basic entry requirements is to start with an average of grade 4 in your GCSE subjects. Now that can be 4s across the board, or it could be gaining higher grades in some subjects and slightly lower in others, because we recognise that sometimes people have got some real strengths but some areas that they struggle with, and we don't want to penalise you for that. It's about getting that average of grade 4. And what we'd say is the closer to a 4 your average is, the more likely it is that you would succeed on some of those mixed courses, those vocational courses, as well as A-levels, and you'd perhaps take one academic A-level alongside 2 of the more general vocational courses. As your average grade goes higher, the more likely it is that you're going to be able to succeed on those very challenging academic A-level courses and be able to do a higher number of those courses. So again, it's about looking at your individual strengths and where you're most likely to succeed. For courses with a large coursework element, so this is your BTECs, Cambridge Technicals and general vocational qualifications, alongside some of the specialist art qualifications, at least 4 GCSE passes at grade 4 or above, preferably including your maths and English, although we do have the facility to resit maths and English GCSEs if you don't quite meet one or other of those. And then as well as those basic requirements, each subject sets their own subject-specific entry requirements, and they're based on our knowledge of what it takes to succeed and do well in that particular subject. And you'll find the subject-specific requirements on the course leaflets, which are on the website next to the subject videos and also in the sixth form prospectus area. And often that means getting a grade 5 in the subject that you want to do, and possibly also a grade 5 in maths or English or science, depending on what that subject requires in terms of your level of understanding to be able to go on and study that one at A-level. So look carefully at the subject specific requirements as well as thinking about those general entry requirements. Other things that you need to know about our admissions: most students in the sixth form will take 3 A-levels, and those are studied across 2 years. We don't do AS levels any longer. Students study their A-levels for a full 2 years and take the assessments at the end. For the most academically able, there is the option to take 4 A-levels. That is a really challenging workload, and so it's not an expectation by any stretch of the imagination. 3 is what universities are looking for, and 3 will get you into even the most competitive universities and courses. However, I'm aware that some students want to keep that breadth in their learning, or maybe want to add further maths on top of their other science qualifications, and in that case there is the opportunity there to select 4 A-levels subject to our timetable. Most students who are doing 3 A-levels will consider taking an extended project qualification or core maths qualification in their first year, for the EPQ and across the 2 years for core maths. And these are both qualifications that lead to university entrance points. They're worth half the number of points as a full A level, and they both give really, really useful skills for students depending on what courses they're wanting to move forwards. And you'll find out a little bit more about that as you start in sixth form. Those aren't courses you need to choose straight away when you apply, but they are things that we'll ask you to think about as part of the application process a little bit later on. And then the BTEC and vocational courses that we offer, we've chosen at Prince Henry some valuable courses that we think will give progression onto the range of university and career options that our students often want to go for. And these are now far more rigorous than the BTECs of the olden days that some of your parents might know about. Almost every university accepts BTECs now, particularly as we offer them in combination with A-levels. And so you might do 2 A-level subjects and 1 BTEC subject, or an A-level and 2 BTECs. And universities particularly like them where they have been combined with other subjects, so you get that breadth of understanding. And so those do offer a really, really good progression route if those are the subjects that you're interested in. In terms of taking those next steps, once students are in the sixth form, you'll be asked to opt into a particular pathway, and these aren't set in stone, these can be changed across the 2 years, but it allows us to target specific support for areas that might need a little bit of additional work on top of what you're doing for your A-level. So for example, our medics, vets and dentists go onto the professional academic pathway, and there they're given information about entrance exams, about the sorts of work experience to look for, and how to prepare for those demanding courses. Likewise, we run a pathway for students who are high achievers at GCSE who are interested in exploring admission to Oxford or Cambridge. And again, this isn't something that you're committed to, but it allows you to look at the different academic preparation you can do to support an application to those very competitive universities. For many of our students, sport's really important to them, and for those students who are working at county or national level, then we offer the Elite Sport and Education programme, which allows students to have a dedicated sports programme running alongside their academic A-level programme to try and get excellence in both and to get access onto some competitive university courses, but also to help them move forwards in their sporting career. We also have the professional vocational pathway for students who've decided that university isn't for them and they're wanting to move straight into apprenticeships or employment. And so we've got different support mechanisms for those students to allow them to explore those options. And then finally, and this is what the bulk of students fall into, is the open options pathway, where students are interested in university, might not be sure what course yet or which universities, or they might be interested in exploring the new degree level apprenticeships that are coming online, or perhaps a combination of those two things to be able to keep those options open and see what's out there, and the open options pathway works well for them. So in terms of the applications process for Prince Henry's, the application form can be found on our website, and that'll be live after the open evening event tonight. For Prince Henry's students, that needs to be submitted before the end of this term, so before the Christmas holidays, please. For students from other schools, the deadline is the 31st of January 2021. And then once we've got those applications in, we then start to look at constructing the timetable to meet as many of those options as possible, so we don't decide where subjects are going to go until we've got all the applications in, and we try to meet as many of your choices as we possibly can. But we will be able to talk to you at the interview about whether that's been possible or not within the options that you've chosen. And then we'll interview you during the spring term, and that will either be live or via something like Teams, and it will depend on the COVID situation as to how we decide to set that up. As far as possible, it'll be a face-to-face interview, because I think sometimes it can be a little bit intimidating on screen. But if we have to do that, we'll do our best to make you feel comfortable and able to talk through your options. So if you put something on your application form and you change your mind a little bit down the line, the interview's the time to have that conversation, or if you're not quite sure which options to go for, again, we can talk that through during your interview and try and sort out which are the best options for you. If you want more information now, then the prospectus pack on the website can offer more information, but I really recommend that you watch the subject videos for as many of the subjects as you might be interested in as possible, so that you can start to get a real feel for what it involves to study that subject. If at the end of this series of videos you still have some general questions about sixth form, then on the 11th of November we'll be offering live appointments where we can answer your questions as a sixth form team. There won't be subject specialists available on that evening. It'll be more general queries that we can answer as part of a sixth form team, but we're happy to do that. And information about how to book that appointment you'll find on the website alongside the subject specific videos. For Prince Henry students, during their PSHE day in November, they'll be able to opt for taster lessons in the different subjects. And I really would say to you that if you're fairly set on a couple of subjects but not sure about the others, then in the taster lessons it's quite useful to try out the ones that you're not so sure about to get a good idea about what those subjects involve. And for students from other schools, we are hoping to be able to run some subject information sessions and some tours in the January term. If you'd like to be on the mailing list to find out about those when they happen, then please email info@princehenrys.co.uk and we will add you to that mailing list, so that once we've finalised how those can take place, then we'll get in touch with you so that you can find out a little bit more about the subjects, or maybe come and visit the school for a socially distanced tour to be able to have a look at the building live rather than looking at it on the video. Okay, I'm going to leave you with a quote from one of our students who left Prince Henry's recently and who really enjoyed their sixth form life, and I think that will be echoed by a lot of our students who think that sixth form here is a really good place to be and would encourage you to come and explore those options as well. So thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy looking at the subject videos for the rest of the open evening.